In an open letter to the government, the Belgian police union warned that as many as 50 ISIS supporters have infiltrated the same Brussels airport that ISIS terrorists attacked late last month. Now, the warning stated that ISIS sympathizers are working there as cleaners, caterers, baggage handlers, and positioning themselves for a new attack. Joining me now, Major General Robert Scales, Walid Phares, Lisa Boothe, and Jillian Melchior. Jillian, you're saying, though, we have the same problem here in America?
Yeah, well, if you look at this with Brussels, the union actually warned 4 days before the terrorism attack. So that was the red flag. We've also had a red flag raised. If you looked at the Department of Homeland Security Inspector General, last summer they conducted an audit, and they found that the TSA had failed to catch links between airport workers, cleaners, concessions people, and ISIS and terrorism. 73 people with links to terrorism were working. And they were saying that there were thousands of people who had been vetted where the applications did not have all of the information. So I think Brussels certainly shows what the possibility is. The United States has its problem as well, and we need to get on that.
You know, Walid, I was just saying during a break here, I read a report a few years back where in Italy, no Italians make pizzas. That's because it's a low-paying job, and so everyone from North Africa and the Middle East, they come. They're so ingrained in the European culture, even a lot more so than America. It would seem that if they are caterers, if they are cleaners, it's hard to identify them, and it's going to be certainly even harder maybe to jettison them out of the system.
Look, 10 years ago, I published my book, Future Jihad, that projected exactly that the jihadists of all their generations are going to actually mutate and then adapt to the place of immigration or to the place of work. It's not about what is the profession. It's what's about on their head. If they have been indoctrinated, then they could be hired very normally. Then you cannot detect them. So we need to do the war of ideas before anything else.
General Scales, how do we combat this, in your opinion?
Well, I think what we have to do is put the same attention on these lower-level workers. Oh, by the way, Charles, many of whom don't belong to the airlines and don't belong to the airport. Many of these are contracted out from small businesses. And just like the Syrian refugees don't have an audit trail from their past, so too do many of these employees not have a traceable past. And finally, here's the thing. What's to say that these lower-level employees aren't being intimidated by ISIS because they're threatening their families overseas? No, this is my sources tell me this is the greatest single source of potential danger in airports, both in Europe and in the United States.
Lisa, I mean, but how do we get around it? I mean, the vetting process, if it's leaky, how do we fix it?
Well, I think this raises broader concerns about just terrorism in Europe as well. I mean, you look at what's happened in Europe with the culmination between these immigration policies, porous borders, and the lack of assimilation. And we saw that just with the terrorist that was housed in the Molenbeek area, that neighborhood for months, and they weren't even able to find him.